worse for the wear because I'm still moving into my new apartment. I'm, putting stuff away, what have you. But it's interesting because many people, I get in arguments with people still promoting the carnivore diet, and people wonder, why do I care what people eat? I don't really care what people eat. What I care about is people that promote fallacies, not to mention people that profit from fallacies, like a lot of these carnivore dieters are doing. Now, I follow an approach to life. I follow the Seventh-day Adventist lifestyle because the Seventh-day Adventist lifestyle promotes longevity. I've been studying this stuff for a very, very long time, since I've been about 10 years old. I'm now 36, okay? So about 26 years I've been studying how to extend my life, how to extend my healthy lifespan. I started with reading books on alchemy, and I also started reading books by people like Roy Walford. Roy Walford was a researcher at the Biodome thing, in the movie with Pauly Shore, Biodome. He was a scientific researcher that discovered if you restrict calories, people get healthier, okay? We've known about caloric restriction for a very long time, that caloric restriction promotes health in animal models. What we also know is the Seventh-day Adventist vegan diet promotes health in living human subjects in reality, outside the lab, where there's many variables, okay? Which is good. So we know caloric restriction works, but what kind of caloric restriction works the best? Which macronutrients should we reduce the most? Well, what the science says is fats and proteins are what should be reduced. Now, I don't quite buy that protein should be strictly reduced, okay? I eat a lot of protein, but I eat my protein in the form of plant protein, such as beans, peas, whole grains, corn, things of that nature. We know that a high carbohydrate, low protein, moderate fat to low fat diet extends life as well as, at least in animal models, as well as caloric restriction does. So what we need to be looking for is how can we basically accentuate caloric restriction. And Roy Walford also knew this. It was caloric restriction with optimal nutrition, meaning you're eating for the optimal nutrition. And I think that Dr. Joel Fuhrman handles this best. I think that the nutritarian approach to life that Joel Fuhrman promotes is the apex of caloric restriction with optimal nutrition, what Roy Walford promoted. So we know to restrict protein, okay, total protein. We know to restrict fat, okay, and we know to eat for optimized nutrition with limited amount of calories. This is not that hard to understand. Now, recently, I'm a bit heavier than I should be, okay? Not real heavy. In fact, when I calculated my body fat percentage, I'm chunky for me. I'm 18.9% body fat, which is chunky for me, but it's average, okay? I'm not obese or something like that. And it has to do with my physique. I have a lot of muscle also. I have a large frame and a lot of muscle. I'm 5'11". Okay, so basically what I'm getting at is this. I calculated how many calories I would need per day using a calculator on the internet, okay, at a moderate activity level. Now, I do exercise 7 days a week. I walk about an hour a day, usually about an hour a day, but I could walk 3 hours a day. And I do calisthenics every day, but I don't consider that vigorous exercise. So I calculated my values for a healthy person that was moderately active at my height and my frame and all that good stuff. So I understood that I had to restrict my calories a certain amount. What Roy Walford determined was that if you take a healthy person and you take what they need to maintain their weight and you reduce it by about 40%, or you basically have a number that will come up with extension of lifespan, okay? I don't think it needs to be reduced that much necessarily, but you should be a little hungry. And that's what we know. Too many people just, the carnivore diet is really the reverse of what science says in every way. It's saying eat all the animal protein you want. Eat all the animal fat you want. Don't eat any carbohydrates. Don't eat any plants, and you'll get healthy. And this is the most asinine thing in the world. But that's all for this video. I had to state this while I was thinking about it, because I just got in an argument with a gentleman on one of Michelle Lowe's videos. It's just, in the comment section, of course. It's just so ridiculous to promote these concepts, and it's even more ridiculous that people are buying this. People need to do their own research from legitimate scientists, not people that are, on the internet. Not me, not Frank Tufano, not Dr. Sean Baker, okay, but real research scientists and real people that are promoting these things that actually understand them. Roy Walford was a good example, but Roy Walford's science is obsolete now. And I just think that more people need to look into these things for themselves and figure it out on their own.